Thailand has issued arrest warrants for former Thai Prime Minister Thaksin and his wife. The warrants were issued after Mr. Thaksin failed to appear before the Thai Supreme Court today. He has gone to London instead and has announced that he intends to stay there. Mr. Thaksin alleges that his political enemies have been interfering in the courts to finish him and his family off.
Mr. Thaksin had been due to return to Bangkok from the Olympic Games with his wife on Sunday evening. But he went to London instead. In a handwritten statement faxed to Thai television stations, Mr. Thaksin apologized to the Supreme Court and the public for failing to make a required appearance in a corruption case involving him and his wife, Pojaman. Pojaman was sentenced to 3 years in jail last month for tax fraud. She's on bail pending an appeal. Analysts say it is probably the prospect of watching his wife do jail time that forced Mr. Thaksin to leave. The former leader says his political enemies don't care about the rule of law, facts, or internationally recognized due process. The anti-government People's Alliance for Democracy says Mr. Thaksin's exile is another victory for it, but its ultimate goal is to finish off the Thaksin regime by kicking out what it's calling his puppet government. Analysts also say Mr. Thaksin's parting swipe at the judicial system in defiance of contempt of court laws means he will not be able to return for a long time.
And for more on the story, I'm joined by Anna Sanyal in Bangkok. So Anna, what's the reaction so far in Thailand to Mr. Thaksin's flight into exile?
So Sheila, this is definitely big news in Bangkok, and the PPP-led government, for what it's worth, say that they are a political party and an independent entity, and that Mr. Thaksin, his legal woes and his exile have nothing to do with them, and that's what we've heard out of the government. For Thai people, it's much more complicated. A lot of them feel that Mr. Thaksin's flight from the law underscores a guilt on his part. Many Thais are very upset. They feel he's tarnished Thailand's image by saying that the judiciary has been politically compromised and politically motivated in their decision. The assassination attempts that Mr. Thaksin says that he faces are death threats for him and his family. Many Thais don't believe that's credible either. They say they've faced it in the past. Thais have always been eager to see this get wrapped up, and now with Mr. Thaksin seeking exile, it doesn't seem like there's going to be any conclusion anytime soon. So Sheila?
And how much authority does the arrest warrant have now that Mr. Thaksin has fled to Britain? Is there an extradition treaty between the two countries?
Well, it really depends how far the courts are going to go to try and get him and his wife back. An extradition treaty does exist, actually dating back to the time when Thailand was called Siam. Mr. Thaksin and his wife Pojaman have now forfeited about $400,000 in bail and other legal costs. So it is possible, but it just remains to be seen. And since this story is developing, how aggressively Thailand will pursue Mr. Thaksin at this point. He also has $2 billion in frozen assets. That, of course, in jeopardy now because of this exile. Sushila?
All right, thanks very much for that, Anna Sanyal reporting there from Bangkok.